These are the VRS Dark Force Pro pedals. So it's a high-end product, stainless steel construction with an industrial aesthetic. Very, very adjustable. All three pedals, the pedal faces in terms of height, depth, angle are fully adjustable, and overall pedal angle is also adjustable. Now, if we look at the throttle pedal first, we have quite a unique design here. So we have a rodless spring, which doesn't quite look right to the eye, but functionally performs extremely well. Absolutely no friction whatsoever, so really nice smooth response. And we have a lot of adjustability here in terms of initial starting force, preload, and also overall force and pedal travel. So if we move on to the brake, we have similar levels of adjustability, a very high-end, heavy-duty construction. We have the blue spring on here at the moment, which tolerates a 65 kilogram maximum force. Also supplied is the optional red spring, which doubles that to 130 kilograms. These are linear springs, which is not normally how a real-life brake pedal feels. So we have this very clever mechanism on the back here, which basically turns that into a progressive, more realistic feeling, which gives you quite a decent bit of travel for low-level trail braking, and then more of a ramp up when you're really braking much harder. And we have this tie rod at the top, which is fully adjustable, along with preload, so you can really fine-tune that exact force shape to your preference. On the clutch, we have a similar level of adjustability in terms of pedal face and also the shape of the curve. So we try to emulate a clutch plate, which is stiff initially and then flattens out as the clutch gives way. So that's emulated here with a small amount of adjustability, including overall travel as well. So we're very happy with this product, and we hope you are too.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit IRacing.com.
If you're looking to get serious in sim racing, one of the first things to do is upgrade your wheelbase and pedals. The powerful force feedback in our direct drive wheelbase makes a huge difference, and our highly adjustable precision pedals will give you the consistency you need to improve. So you'll not only get the best value for your money, but you'll also benefit from our quick, local shipping from Australia and save even more. Our transparent pricing has GST included, so there's no nasty surprises at checkout or further customs delays and charges. And if you're near Melbourne, you can simply pick up your hardware from our showroom and get a free product walkthrough from one of our VRS coaches. We offer excellent customer service after the sale, and our hardware is made of the highest quality components. To get yours today, just go to the URL on the screen or click on the button below. But hurry, stock is always limited due to high demand. So if you want to get faster, sooner, VRS is your answer.
Side gunning for a goal, 3 wide deep, heart ice cold. I roll smoke like a tire on fire, fuel in the blood, born to go higher. Check that, push right, walls close in, every move tight, plan for the win. Left turn king with the heat train time, when the lights go green, we light the sky. Let's light it up. Let's light it up. Let's light it up. Let's light it up. I came in hot, never back down, I'm taking my shot. Crowd on fire, screaming loud, taking us higher. This is the moment, this is the flame. Rivals fall when I stake my name. 1, 2, pass, I'm rising above. This is my time. Let's light it up. Let's light it up.
Cometh the moment, cometh the man, and cometh the legend that is Talladega Super Speedway here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to Infinity Broadcasting, and welcome into the final round of the playoffs for Season 2 of the IRWC Rod Knot Cup live from Talladega here this evening. We've trimmed the field down from 10 to 7, and now to the final 4. 4 drivers, equal on points, will fight for the Rod Knot Cup here this evening in a winner-takes-all scenario around NASCAR's most famous racing circuit. Hamish Munro here with you, as we have been all season, bringing you all the action live right here on Infinity Broadcasting. If you're new here or you've been here for a while and you've just been watching without doing so just yet after my heated pleas and my guided pleas as well, I request and ask if you could possibly hit the like button, the subscribe with the bell icon too, so you're notified with all the racing action we've got coming your way throughout the end of 2025 and into the beginning of 2026 as well. It's a big night of racing for these drivers as they'll end out this championship with 4 drivers trying to take the claim. The previous champion, defending champion, Kurt Chapman, formerly of Project 36, will try and do what Sam Muir did earlier in the week in the VRS Porsche Cup Series and go back-to-back and hold on to the number 1 on the side of his Ford Mustang. The challengers against him, well, they're his former teammates. The 3 Project 36 cars in the field of David Lawler, Harry Dodds, and regular season winner Angus Lawford. The drivers that fought their way into the final 4 last week at Autodromo Jimenez Rodriguez come into Talladega tonight to try and fight for the championship. Commiserations, of course, went out last week to Logan Howard, Jordan Ferguson and Jack Anderson, who lost their position within the playoffs after not finishing within the top 4 of positions last week for Mexico City. So now we come into our final race of the season with those 4 drivers challenging for the title. It's going to be a massive final round. It's the last time that we're together for IRWC at least for the moment, here on Infinity Broadcasting. The Rod Knock Cup, well, that calendar will be announced in the coming days. Sign-ups will be going live in the coming days as well for Season 3. What we can tell you is it will be going racing in the NASCAR Xfinity cars for next season. So we've gone from the ARCAs to the Next Gens and now to the Xfinities for Season 3. It's a very popular car type. It's one that a lot of drivers love in the oval landscape. So it's one that should offer us a lot of fun coming into 2026. The other big piece of news as well is next year, in January through March, we will be running 2 Rod Knock Cups. Our regular season of Rod Knock Cup, which will be starting very soon, and then our US time slot Rod Knock Cup as well, racing here in Australia on Saturday afternoons at roughly midday. That is when we'll be going racing for a US time slot of the Rod Knock Cup to hopefully get some more US-based drivers in there and offer up a new and exciting challenge for our Rod Knock Cup drivers in throughout 2026. So it will begin with a shortened season, a summer series if you will, and then they will get a full season in what will be Season 2 of iRacing in 2026. Qualifying is about to get underway. The drivers about to head out there at this stage. It's been a mega season thus far. What we can tell you is IRWC will continue to grow now in towards 2026. Our sign-ups have begun, and they've begun with flying colours over the last week for the VRS Porsche Cup Series. We are already out to 20 entries after only 1 week of entries being open. So I implore you, get into the Discord, get signed up, and get involved for it as well. And if you're excited for the new season of the IRWC Rod Knock Cup to begin very soon as well, then again, get into the Discord and you can be the first to know when sign-ups will be going live for 2026. But all that's left to do is to qualify and race for 69 nice laps around Dega here this evening. It is going to be a big test for these drivers. It's big emotions in the field as well for some drivers too. Of course, Angus Lawford, well, he won the regular season. He led the championship into the playoffs, and he led it to the Final Four as well before the points were tied. He's the man on form at the moment. Didn't win last time out at Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez, but has had some recent wins in the oval landscape here in the Rod Knock Cup as well. We then look to, of course, his teammate David Lawler, who's had some great pace this season as well. Raced with us last season in Season 1. He'll be trying to win his first championship here in the Rod Knock Cup too. Their teammate Harry Dodds, who unfortunately earlier in the week lost his auntie over in New Zealand. So once again, our condolences go out to Harry. Wish him the best of luck tonight. He'll be racing for her and hoping to win the Rod Knock Cup for himself as well. And then all three of them are going to come up against their former teammate, the defending champion, the man with the number 1 on the side of his car, Kurt Chapman, who won the title last season after a controversial end. He'll be hoping if he wins it again here tonight, it's going to be in a less controversial fashion, and one that he can lock himself down for. There are some X factors in the field tonight as well. Former playoff drivers in Jack Anderson and Jordan Ferguson are in the field, and our resident American Bailey Brannon is out there too, representing Florida State University as he always does whenever he goes racing. So there's a bit of pressure on them. I have just seen as well that Ash DeVries has joined the server at the last moment. So there's another driver that's going to be out there too in the 666 machine. I saw Ashos was in the chat earlier. Knock my rod, baby. Kiss, cuddle, kiss. Okay, thank you so much, Ashos. So Ash is now into the server too, so we hope that he'll be able to go racing with us as well now that he's out there. So there's going to be 4 playoff drivers and 4 non-playoff drivers, 8 drivers in total. Points are locked in for those that are in the playoffs, 2,000 apiece. So whichever one comes out on top tonight here at Dega is going to be the champion of Season 2. This is the beauty of the playoff system. We can come into it where the finale round, the final time we go racing, the 3rd round of the playoffs, is where we can crown a champion. And that's what makes it so exciting. It's not going to get blown out of proportion. We don't have to do any quick maths calculations to figure out where they situate themselves. It will all come down to tonight. Now, of course, if drivers end up equal on points after tonight's race, then we will have to do some count back. We'll have to do some maths, because depending on who they are, we'll then have to look at all their previous stats, maybe put their bonus points up against them as well, and that may then be the deciding factor throughout the evening too on deciding our champion. The question I have though, and I suppose it's a question that I'm obviously asking myself. What is the strategy going to be for Project 36 tonight? We had a quick word with them last week and how they're going to be going about it. They mentioned that it's going to be papaya rules. They're going to be racing. It's whoever comes out on top is going to win. They're going to support each other throughout the race. But when it comes down to the nitty and gritty, they are going to be racing between themselves to try and win the championship. When you're Kurt Chapman, how are you going to be able to attack this now? Well, he's got some friends in the field that'll be able to help him. But it is one man versus three in trying to win a championship. It's a massive uphill battle. We saw how that went last time out for Logan Howard when he tried to lock himself into a playoff position here in the final round. So for some drivers, it's tougher. Other drivers, they've got nothing to play for. Brandon, Ferguson, Anderson, DeVries, they're not in the championship fight. They're out of the playoffs now. They're out there for some fun, and they're out there to try and race their hearts out, or their hearts' content, for the final round of this season as well in the Next Gen car. We'll hopefully see a return to the Next Gen in future seasons, but at least for the moment, Season 3 will be the Xfinity car coming up for us very soon. So that's going to be a fun time ahead, no doubt about that. Qualifying's done and dusted, and the racing action is about to get underway. And to give you the short, quick run around of the grid, it is the defending champion Kurt Chapman starting on the front row alongside Bailey Brannon, Jordan Ferguson and Jack Anderson then sitting behind. It is a lot of a gap back to Harry Dodds, Angus Lawford and David Lawler at the back of the field. And then Ash DeVries makes up the end. So Chapman early doors is going to have the advantage over the Project 36 cars, as he has 3 cars between him and his next challengers in the playoffs. This is going to be an enticing run. It is going to be an enticing event as well, as Chapman gets gridded up for us too. Can that car maintain the number 1 on the side of it too? Round it in the chat with us. What if you get the near impossible if everyone somehow crosses the finish line at the same time? Well, then I've got no idea for you. No idea. iRacing then comes down to the timing and determining who is actually going to be the champion in that scenario as well. Just to give you the quick rundown of where we've been this season, of course, we've been all around the block this season in terms of races that we have participated in. It all started out at Echo Park in Atlanta. We then headed out to Miami, and then we went racing out at Chicago Street Course for the first street race of the season. We then went to Chicagoland the week after, where our good friend Jesse Ventura was in the booth with me. Pocono in round 5. Sonoma was in the next road race in round 6. Bristol Dirt. Nashville then ended out the regular season. The playoffs thus far have, of course, been at Texas Motor Speedway. Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez for round 10. And now we end it tonight at Talladega for 69 nice laps. 31 laps will be the stage end this evening for this race. And then we'll push on to the end of 69. Can Kurt Chapman go back-to-back in the Rod Knott Cup and stake his name in the history books as the second back-to-back champion in IRWC history? It would also be the very first time, and the first ever possible time this could happen, that we've had 2 back-to-back champions of the 2 different series in the same season. It could be a wild storyline if that were to happen. Both of them would then be able to go on to try and get a 3-peat next season as well. But the pressure is on for some drivers to perform tonight. Would you argue there's more pressure on Chapman, or would you argue there's more pressure on Project 36? I would argue there is more pressure on Project 36 tonight, because they've got 3 drivers in the top 4. If none of them win it, that there statistically says that they could possibly be set as a failure for that team. If Chapman can do it, it is going to be an all-time victory if this happens as a privateer. In towards the start zone we go, though, at Talladega for the first time tonight. Pace cars into pit lane. The rolling start is about to get underway. It's a dog-leg race start, of course. The line is just past the pit exit. Into the start zone we go. It's lights out at Talladega. And we are racing once again for the final time here in the Rod Knott Cup for 2025. Early off the race start, there's already some drop positions here for Chapman to Anderson and Brandon out of the front of the field. Outside line was looking good there for Brandon Anderson and De Vries, who's pushed his way forward from the back end of the field here thus far. But it is early plate racing here at Dega. Nothing untoward just yet. They're just trying to get a feel for it and trying to settle themselves in for the next 30 laps until we get to the end of the stage. That's when they'll then get a break. And they'll come into pit lane, I'm sure, take some fuel on board and push on towards the end of 69. It's a tough event, though, to be a part of. Such a long race, such a treacherous track, one that we've seen much chaos across of last season too, when we were last here in the RKC, of course, when we were racing in the ARCA cars. Chapman, though, getting a good little push here. Now up into P2. Anderson and De Vries starting to fall back a little bit. Ferguson holding back those Project 36 cars, but it is a wall back to Harry Dodds. He's got nowhere to go at this stage as Anderson and De Vries are getting good push on that outside line. What could Project 36 do here to try and contest this? Well, it's early in the race. Anything can occur and anyone can make a mistake across the piece. Who is going to net the advantage? A little push coming from Dodds under the back of Ferguson. Project 36, though, may need to try and have a little outside edge opportunity here. Maybe save some fuel or go for a bit of a dice roll. See what happens. But there's still so long left in this race that anything could go wrong and any of these drivers could make a mistake as well. See, Anderson, De Vries, they're doing well on that outside line at the moment. It's good to see from them. Ferguson still holding back. Harry Dodds at the moment. And Brandon, well, he's holding strong at the front end of the field. As De Vries is now getting knocked back a little bit as the low line's getting better push. Dodds is bound to get past both Anderson and De Vries. If they're not careful, they're trying to box them in as much as possible. There you can see it. Anderson boxes in Dodds. Ferguson doesn't want to give him any advantage whatsoever. And it is almost becoming an impossibility now for those three day-glow Mustangs at the back end of the field to make their way through if they don't get a chance soon. As Brandon gets a bit loose off of 4. Here comes Anderson and De Vries to the front end of town. Side by side, the top 4 continue to run in 2-wide action. And it is classic plate racing whenever you see it here at Dega like this. Fast-paced, in the draft, get a little bit of slipstream in ya and see where you end up. But it's this sort of racing that any small mistake, any little inch or millimeter out of line, and it can be all over for you. It can so quickly come crashing down like a house of cards from a stiff wind. It can so easily come crashing down around you and immediately put more pressure on you when those mistakes are made. If it's going to be early in the race, that's the best possible time it can happen for you because you've got more time to come back. If you have a mistake later in the race, that could be a death sentence. As De Vries and Anderson now tuck into the front 2 spots. Brandon now put back into 3rd. Chapman P4, but would currently be winning the championship in the current swing of things here in the order of the field. Lap 6 of 31. Still a long way to go until we get to the stage end. And any of them could win this race. It is big, big pressure. That's right off the back of Anderson. And look at the sort of pressure that De Vries is putting upon him. It's a little bump from De Vries. You can see the sparks coming off the bottom of the car as they were coming around 3 and 4. And up towards 1 and 2 they now run. So the front 2 cars trying to work together. Neither of them have got a hand in the fight in terms of the championship. Neither does Brandon in P3. And Chapman would love to get the chance to sneak on by at some point as well. But he's happy to hold stead back in P4. He knows the race is not going to be won just yet. So do the Project 36 cars of Dodds, Lawford and Lawler in behind them. If you're just joining us and you don't understand What the colouring on the tower means, those with silver backgrounds are our playoff drivers. The black coloured backgrounds, they are either already knocked out of playoffs or they were never in the playoffs. So that is to give you the contention marker for those who are keeping an eye on. And this being the final round of the playoffs, right now, Kurt Chapman would be the champion, but anything can happen across Talladega. We know this. Anybody can win this race as Brannon now moves up into P2 past De Vries. And Chapman will hope to make a move very shortly as well. But Brannon will start to put some pressure here on Anderson at the front end of town, with Ferguson holding rear gunner here for Chapman too against Dodds and Lawford and Lawler. But they're able to save fuel being so far back in the train, as Brannon's had a massive blink in P2. Hopefully that doesn't continue to be an issue for him. But those three cars at the back end of field, Dodds, Lawford, Lawler, they'll be able to save bulk fuel at the moment back there, because they have got, well, at least 4 cars minimum ahead of them. It goes 4, 5, and 6. The amount of cars that could be ahead of them on the, sorry, 5, 6, 7, sorry, is the amount of cars they have ahead of them. So that's the sort of fuel save that you want to try and have back there. That could pay dividends when they come into pit lane, could get him an extra lap around the circuit as well. I think I'd rather take the pit stop gain though, of being able to take a little bit less fuel, still have an extra lap in hand, but actually taking a bit less fuel in the pit lane is going to be a massive world of help in terms of time gained and any sort of advantage they can get in pit lane, because that's where they can make overtakes, because they're currently not getting any back there. I'm not saying they're struggling, of course they're not. It's so early on in this race. We're only a third of the way through the first stage of this race. We're only a sixth of the way through the whole thing. Around saying, I don't like the number you just said. Well, 5, 6, 7. I mean, Dodds has got 5 cars ahead of him. Lawford's got 6. Lawler's got 7. I don't understand where you think there's a reference in there, Rhiannon, for the numbers 5, 6, 7. I mean, not quite sure, to be honest with you. Maybe I've been living under a rock for too long, possibly. Unsure, but this stage, lap 10 of 31, Bailey Brannon controls the field with De Vries, Anderson, Chapman and Ferguson in behind them. What could have been a season for Anderson, if not for his holidaying overseas, he still managed to find himself in a playoffs position at the very end. And what I must say is probably a spectacular way for him to have done so. Missed 3 rounds of the season, still made the playoffs. In fact, made it to the second round of the playoffs after, unfortunately, what was a horrible race last week at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. He now comes into tonight with no hand in the game. You are not safe from me, Munro. Oh, I do consider that. I consider that a warning, and I will heed my warning. But lap 11 of 69. Oh, nice. And we've got still so long to go on this race, but what we've seen early here from these first 11 laps is some good, clean, green running. Yes, we've only had 8 cars on track, but we could still have any sort of incidents here with 8 cars on track. The clean run that this green lap run has been, or green flag run has been spectacular thus far for these cars. They've kept themselves nice and tidy, and they've kept themselves in a nice, friendly position on track. Now again, Project 36, they're playing the long game, if you will, the smart game. They are playing the game of, we want to keep ourselves in contention, we want to keep ourselves here at the back end of town. We're only currently giving up at minimum 2 positions worth of points to Chapman. At most, they're really only giving up 5 points at the moment. That is still an achievable overcome of gap from them. Where, say, Lawler at the back end of town is currently giving up 5 points to Chapman. He can make that back up again if he were to win the race and Chapman were to finish second. So any of them have still got the chance here, even at the halfway point of the stage, because they can either get past Chapman or they can still make it up later on when we get checkered flag running. Right now, though, he's getting a good run. He's sitting well in P4, and he's got a car between himself and the other playoff drivers in those Project 36 crew. So it's working out well for Chapman right now, but I'm not writing off Project 36 just yet because we have still got such a long way to go to have this race. Brannan at this stage, though, in a well and truly controlling position at the front end of town. Good to see Ash DeVries back after his time away in Tasmania for work. So it's great to have Ash Oz back with us once again and racing with us too. Love seeing the 666 car out on circuit as well. Of course, for Brannan, we expect him to be racing in the US Time Slot Series next year. Hopefully we see some of those Aussies rock up too, because it is Australian time zone friendly. It's a midday race on a Saturday. So hopefully we can see some Aussies sign up and come and mix with those US-based drivers who'll be racing on a Friday night for themselves. So it should be a fun time for Season 1 of 2026. For iRacing, it would be the, of course, third season of the regular Rodknock Cup, the first of the US time slot. We head into Season 4 of the VRS Porsche Cup Series as well. So it is all going to be fun times ahead for us here in the IRWC. You guys don't want to miss any of that wonderful racing action. We've, of course, got US-based NASCAR racing coming your way too with Gen 6 NASCARs. It's upcoming Monday morning at 11:50 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. It'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over in the US. Highside Motorsports, their first running out at Nashville Speedway. We'll be going out racing with those guys as well. Myself and Anthony in the booth for that one. Should be a fun time. Monday morning for myself, Sunday evening for those US-based drivers out there. In fact, a couple of them in the race this evening will be racing in that one as well. As DeVries and Brannan now starting to break away just a little bit here from Anderson in behind them. We're halfway through stage one. We're a quarter of the way through this race, and it is starting to heat up in terms of the pressure that's building. These next 16 or 15 laps are going to absolutely fly by for them, because the pressure that has been built amongst these drivers and amongst this field is it's incredible. It is incredible the sort of pressure that can be built from long runs like this, solid runs like this, and runs in which you are just trying to keep the car neat and tidy. The tyres will start to get away from you. The fuel will start to be getting low as well. And then that's when the pressure can be applied, especially onto pit entry and exit, where you don't want to get caught out, just like DeVries has done now, going for an outside line. That has taken him right out of the train, and now he slots right in, right ahead of Harry Dodds. So Project 36 couldn't even take advantage of the mistake from the 666 car, who ran it up high, went for a move, and hit the brick wall that is airflow right in the front of his car. He's now backed out again and drops further back. He's struggling with whatever it might be, but it is giving some positions up to those Project 36 cars. In fact, it gave positions up to pretty much everybody in the field. And now DeVries has dropped to the back end of the train and is a little bit far out from tow range. So he might have to try and save some fuel or some tyres, but there's something definitely happening with that car, because he has dropped so far back. 1.4 seconds is now the gap from the race leader back to P8 on the road. That's putting big pressure on him. And that there is put a little bit more pressure now on the likes of Kurt Chapman, because it is now one less car between him and Project 36 that are hunting him down at the top end of town. Lap 18 of 31. So we're well and truly past the halfway point now of stage one here this evening. And the pressure that these drivers have been feeling across the whole race would be impeccable. Let's just have a look here on board with Jordan Ferguson, because he'll be feeling just a little bit of pressure on board this Toyota Camry right now as he tries to hold back this onslaught of high school student pencil cases that are the highlighters of Project 36. But there are cars coming into pit lane. So Anderson in, really locked it up. So did Brannan. Ferguson in two, Chapman's in, DeVries in. And as we said, the fuel save for Project 36. They've now been able to go a lap longer than those front runners, but there are 5 cars in with 3 cars left out on track. Let's see how this plays off for them. So all of them are now into the box. So pit lane is lining up for the first time. Lap 19 of 31. Brannon's exiting the lane. Anderson's exiting. Chapman's exiting. So's Ferguson. So's De Vries. Looks to have been only right sides that have gone on board those cars. So no left-hand tyres have been put on. They've all taken the right sides. What does Project 36 do now that they are out and in front and in their draft train? This is intensifying. Lap 20 now, so they've gone another lap. But now this train of cars of Brannon, Anderson, Chapman and Ferguson will eventually catch up, and then De Vries. And you see there Lawford just getting some airflow into the front of the car, backs out of it, lets Lawler through. Because he doesn't want to get into a position like what he was in practice, where he's stuck behind the car ahead for 2 whole laps with no airflow into the front of it, overheats, blows the engine. So Lawler and Lawford are in. Dodds is in as well, so in come Project 36. So pit lane lights up again. They went 2 more laps than the rest of the field, thanks to the fuel save they got by being at the back end of the train. This could be massive. There's been a little bit of separation from some drivers further back. Of course, Brandon and Anderson are together. Chapman's now been knocked back with Ferguson with him as well. So there'll need to be a little bit of push to get them up the order. And unfortunately for De Vries, he's been left on his lonesome and left all on his own back there. As out comes Dodds, Lawler and Lawford. They all exit the lane. Here comes Brandon and Anderson. They're at full pace up towards pit exit. But the triad of Project 36 cars were able to work together to a point that they've been able to jump some of them. As Brannon and Anderson come around, where's Dodds? He's just exiting now. There's Lawler, there's Lawford, there's Brannon and Anderson. So they're at pace, remembering. So they are at pace, and it's been a massive jump and gain from Project 36 from that pit stop strategy. But here comes Brannon at full run, full noise, outside line. Anderson looks to get them as well. Dodds has been allowed to break away, but he will get caught up very, very quickly by these cars because he's got nobody to draft with and nobody to work with at this point of the race. So now Brannon sits ahead of Lawler and Lawford. Anderson back in P5. Chapman needs to try and find someone to work with a bit better because there's 10 laps to go in the stage. And right now the championship lead will go to Harry Dodds as Brannon's now going to get by the 981. And back into the race lead goes the 60 car. So now it becomes pressurized for Project 36 to try and work together here. And they've got to try and make friends with the Mustang and the Camry of Brannon and Anderson. And you can see Anderson on the outside trying to get past Lawford here. But he's got no one to get the draft off of, so he just hits the wall and can't get through. 9 laps to go of the first stage. It's heating up now. It's been a complete bait-em shift between them because Chapman and Ferguson are trying to work together to catch that train, but with 5 cars in the top-end train, they are going to be able to run away from P6 and P7. As Anderson now looks to go on the outside of Lawford again. But his teammate Lawler is right there to try and give him some draft and give him some advantage. So Brannon to Dodds, Lawler, Lawford, Anderson. That's the top 5. It's then Chapman, Ferguson and De Vries at the back end of the field. And you can see the amount of time that De Vries has given up because he's been outside of draft range and he's been left all on his lonesome. He's not been able to catch anybody. He needs a caution to get back into this now. He can't survive green running because he'll very likely go a lap down on the whole field if he remains out there like this. We can see too, Chapman and Ferguson are still tight neck and neck together. P6 and P7 at this point. Let's ride with Brannon and see the pressure that's being applied from Project 36. Oh, it's another blink from Brannon there. We are back. So what this is now happening for the top 5, they are continuing to gain around about a second a lap over Chapman and Ferguson back in P6 and P7, as Brannon is still having blinking issues up in P1. The ping is atrocious for him, unfortunately, coming in all the way over in the US. And I suppose the one thing we can say is the US time slot will have a US server on it. So because it will get a US server, all of those American-based drivers are going to have a much bigger advantage into the US time slot series, because they are going to have the betterment of the internet connection. And they won't have as much blinking, and there shouldn't be as much netcode, at least between the US-based drivers. 6 laps to go and we cross the strike in stage 1. About to be lap 26 of 69. Anderson is trying to find any way he can around Lawford, but with no draft, he cannot put pressure on him at this stage. He's trying to get side draft. He's getting a little bit of toe off of Lawler ahead, but he just can't get the job done. He's still trying to hang out with Lawford here, but now that he's out a lot wider, he's got no side draft from the 52. And now he's got to tuck back in again. So this is now played right into the hands of Project 36. Right into their hands. Now, without Dodds being in the race lead, of course, it means that Chapman at most is going to be 4 points behind a Project 36 driver of Harry Dodds, because it's P6 up to P2. So Anderson is now ahead of Lawford. Here comes Lawler trying to give some help to his teammate and give him the draft for the 52 car ahead of the 58. So the 58 finally got that job done, but now the teamwork has to start to be applied. So now Dodds and Lawler try and help Lawford back ahead of Anderson on the outside. They get the job done. Here comes Dodds. He wants the inside on Brannon. He's going to get the run through as the 981. And now Brannon has to tuck back into P2 as Anderson once again is now caught on that outside line. So it is struggle streak for the top 5, but they are gaining more and more on 6th and 7th in this race. There's currently less of a challenge coming from Chapman and Ferguson, and it's becoming a 5-horse dance to the end of stage 1. So as we come around turn 2, it's 4 laps to go in stage 1 of this race. Remembering that points are awarded 10 points to 1 for the top 10 cars. We have 8 here tonight, so it'll go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So at most, Chapman would be dropping right now 10 compared to 5. He'd be dropping 5 points at the moment. Here in the stage, to Harry Dodds. He'd be dropping 3 to Lawler, and right now he's dropping 1 to Lawford. But that is back and forth with Jack Anderson, of course. They're still gaining, though, over Chapman and Ferguson. Still gaining over them. They're getting no push whatsoever further back because they've got no one to drag along with them. And these 5 cars are getting much more draft advantage over the 2 that are behind them, because there's more cars that are punching through the air. There's more cars that are creating this bubble to drag them along. And you can see that Anderson is now just trying to tuck up and around into P3, which would drop Lawler back. It's already dropped Lawford back at this point of the race. But he's just trying to find a way through. Dodd's position is pretty protected right now. But with Anderson back there trying to get a run on them, he just wants any little advantage that he can possibly get. Try and knock them back a few places. Brandon's already done his job. He's P2 at the moment with 2 to go on the stage. He'd love to try and get the stage win. Knock them back even further. But with the gap out now to around about 9.1 seconds, the hope of Chapman beating them in the stage is pretty much null and void. So he'll have to hope that after this next caution, because of the stage end, he makes the right strategic move to get that number 1 car to the front end of town to try and push on for another stint in this race. But that's where the pressure will be reapplied once again. So Anderson is now just ahead of Angus Lawford. David Lawler's gone off! David Lawler has gone off under the infield. So Lawler's now out of the front 5 battle. It's now down to 4. As David Lawler is off the track with 1 to go in the stage. This is how it happened to Lawler. There was a little bit of push. And then Anderson's driving. And as he comes back down again, he's just overhooked Anderson once again. I'll see if I can get a bit of view of it after the stage finishes. Because what's that now done has pushed Lawler back to P7. It's given Chapman a little bit more gain as Brannon with Dodds now side by side up the front end of town. Oh, and around goes Harry Dodds. There's the caution. Dodds is in the wall. Dodds is in the wall. That'll end the stage. Brannon now P2. Dodds has been absolutely wrecked into the wall. Through comes Chapman. Ferguson will come through as well. So the stage will end with all of that after a big incident back there. Let's see if we can try and get a better bird's eye view of the moment with David Lawler, and then we'll head back to the Harry Dodds incident as well. So let's try and watch this back as best we can. So Lawford gives a bit of push there to Anderson. That then pushes Anderson into the back of Lawler. And as Lawler's kind of, there's a little bit of wiggle room there from the 58 into the back of the 136. I don't think there was anything that Anderson was trying to do in that moment, but there was some definite knock from Lawford's car. Let's watch this again. And in fact, let's go on the nose. Let's watch this. As they come round, there's Anderson on the outside. So, as he's on that outside line, we've got to try and almost watch this as close as possible. We've got to try and time it at the right moment. So, Lawford's coming up. Little touch on the 58. That then drops him down. He then touches the 136 ahead of him, gets him real loose, and both of them have had a bad wiggle, and then they've come together again on the pit entry. So that's what's happened with that one. Then we've got to go to the Harry Dodds incident, because this is a really weird one. This is like Lawford has actually pushed Dodds into Brannon. That's what this looks like. So there's a little door there from Brannon on Dodds. That's fine. Little one again. That's okay. But then Lawford just drives straight through him, and Brannon's caught up with Dodds right on his nose. That is a really, really weird incident. Really, really odd. But what it's done is this is now opened back up the opportunity for something to happen. So they're dooring. So Dodds is pushed high, and then Lawford just drives straight through him and knocks him round. That is a really, really weird one. So Brannon and Anderson, or Anderson stayed out. Brannon and Chapman have now exited pit lane. I'm unsure how that's worked. We might just drag Anderson in for a quick chat now that he's caught the pace car. But that was a really, really weird moment. Two very weird incidents.
He's on an escalator. It's going upstairs, so see
What's going on, Bobby?
Hello. So I just wanted to. Obviously, that was a bit of a weird mess there towards the end of that stage.
Yeah, I don't know if I came down on Angus too hard or
So
if,
from
if
what
it
I
was an ugly
saw,
bump.
so from what I
didn't mean
saw,
to take out Lawler.
yeah, from what I saw on board with Angus, he's almost washed up a little bit. Hit your rear, that's then dragged you across, obviously, in between himself and Lawler. It's then hit Lawler. Lawler's then gone up high. You both get a wiggle. You both come together. And then all hell breaks loose. And then the other one we had was with Bailey.
It was with
Dodds
Angus again.
and Angus again. And it was really weird. Like, Harry and Bailey were banging doors. That's fine. But then Angus just kind of drives straight into the back of Doddsy and just kind of pushes him and knocks him real loose on the banking. It was a really weird one. I assume you've got auto stages up. Do we know what the stage finishing order was?
Yeah, so it was Angus. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway because the stage doesn't count to the finals for the final.
Oh, is it literally race points?
It's literally just stage for being the stage. But yes, it's just race points, no stage points for the final like they do in real life.
Okay, so it actually.
But
it's
the
just,
stage was going to be Angus, Bailey, Kurt, Jordan, Lawler, Dodds, Ash, and myself.
Okay, so pretty much it's going to come down to however they finish across the line at the end of the race.
Yeah, it's literally whoever finishes the highest out of the four.
Cool.
Yeah, we adopted the real life sort of finish for it.
I like it. Short, sweet, to the point. We don't have to do any maths. It's literally whoever wins on the day. Makes it easy.
Yeah, it was literally just the stage is literally just there to give the driver the break. The temps are rising pretty quickly in the engines when you're under draft, so yeah, it's kind of a bit of survival out there.
Well, it looks to be you guys have had a good green run early. Obviously, only one caution thus far, so we'll see if it goes green the rest of the way or if it's going to heat up a little bit more towards the end. We'll see. But I've just seen that Chapo's just given Bailey a little kiss there on his way to the outside line. But I'll let you get back to it for the restart. Best of luck. We'll see what ends up and who's the champion in the end.
All good. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Jack Anderson, who was part of one of those incidents. Both of them really weird. I honestly, from an outside view, I would say both of them were racing incidents from what I saw. Really too much to call on them because there was a bit of bumping action from them as well. And that's just made it tough for them to properly be a part of the big conspiracy or a big controversy. I think both of them were racing incidents. They were just wrong place, wrong time. Bad bump, bad knock. Nothing untoward. So, final stage of this race is about to get underway. Bailey Branham will lead us through. It is the checkered flag that will decide the champion. No stage points on offer tonight. So it's whoever finishes higher up the order is going to be the champion. A true one and done. A true all-deciding race to the end. Stage 1 has been complete. Stage 2, well, that's about to get underway, and it's currently Kurt Chapman in a championship winning position as we head up towards the strike and we head up towards the final stage of the season. Jump off the restart lap. Chapman is on that outside line, getting good push here from Ash DeVries. It's almost a photographic recreation of the first portion of this race. And what they've got to be careful of at the front end is the fuel save from the Project 36 cars in the background, because they were able to save an extra 2 laps of fuel in their first run in this race. So because of that, you'd have to assume they can go 2 laps longer again, which was roughly 20 laps. They all last came in on lap 32/31. So with those 19 lappers, they should be able to get out to roughly lap 51. Give them then 18 laps to go. Project 36 cars, but they can get 21 laps out of their 20 laps out of their tank. They should be able to get out to lap 52. So it's big pressure for them to make it to where they want to, but with 33 to go, We've still got one more pit stop to get these cars home. Must pit though by lap 50 to get their cars home in this race, but that was with a bit of tow, so that was saving them some fuel, of course. So as long as they can get to lap 51, I would argue, they should be able to get it home on one more stop, but it is going to be very, very tight on that fuel load. But with some fuel save capabilities further back in the pack and further back in the field, and they should be able to take advantage if they can. Lap 38 of 69. Nice, about to get started. 32 to go in the second stage of this race. It's currently being controlled by Bailey Brannan. To the provisional champion right now, Kurt Chapman in P2, Ferguson, DeVries, Anderson, and it's Dodds, Lawford and Lawler all lurking in the background, playing their fuel save strategy, playing their game of waiting the long game to get their cars to the front end of town. How it would be decided between them, well, we've got no idea. We've already seen them make contact with each other in this race. You'd hope it wouldn't come down to that for them, but it is going to be a tough run to the end here out at Talladega. We've got 31 to go when we cross the strike till the championship is finished. What more can happen at Dega, at NASCAR's most favourite or most famous circuit? We're back very shortly with more here from the final round of the playoffs. Don't go anywhere as we hear some quick short messages from our sponsors VRS and from iRacing.
These are the VRS Dark Force Pro pedals. So it's a high-end product, stainless steel construction with an industrial aesthetic. Very, very adjustable. All three pedals, the pedal faces in terms of height, depth, angle are fully adjustable, and overall pedal angle is also adjustable. Now, if we look at the throttle pedal first, we have quite a unique design here. So we have a rodless spring, which doesn't quite look right to the eye, but functionally performs extremely well. Absolutely no friction whatsoever, so really nice smooth response. And we have a lot of adjustability here in terms of initial starting force, preload, and also overall force and pedal travel. So if we move on to the brake, we have similar levels of adjustability, a very high-end, heavy-duty construction. We have the blue spring on here at the moment, which tolerates a 65 kilogram maximum force. Also supplied is the optional red spring, which doubles that to 130 kilograms. These are linear springs, which is not normally how a real-life brake pedal feels. So we have this very clever mechanism on the back here, which basically turns that into a progressive, more realistic feeling, which gives you quite a decent bit of travel for low-level trail braking, and then more of a ramp up when you're really braking much harder. And we have this tie rod at the top, which is fully adjustable, along with preload, so you can really fine-tune that exact force shape to your preference. On the clutch, we have a similar level of adjustability in terms of pedal face and also the shape of the curve. So we try to emulate a clutch plate, which is stiff initially and then flattens out as the clutch gives way. So that's emulated here with a small amount of adjustability, including overall travel as well. So we're very happy with this product, and we hope you are too.
Welcome back into the IRWC Rod Knot Cup. Welcome back into Infinity Broadcasting as well. If you're just joining us, we are in our final round of the season, our final round of the playoffs at a night which a win will get you a championship. If you can beat your other playoff contenders, you can win the title. It's whoever wins on the day is going to be the champion. The 4 drivers that are in it for the championship: Kurt Chapman, Harry Dodds, Angus Lawford and David Lawler are all of our playoff drivers, represented by the silver number backgrounds on the timing tower. The ones with the black backgrounds: Ash DeVries, Jordan Ferguson, Jack Anderson, Bailey Brannan. They are not in playoffs contention here tonight. We've got 26 laps to go of Talladega Super Speedway. And what you can look forward to throughout the rest of this year and into 2026 is more wonderful oval racing action through way of Gen 6 NASCARs, Xfinity NASCARs as well. Be sure if you're enjoying tonight's action, you've been here for a while, or you're just joining us, hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon too, so you're notified whenever we go racing right here on Infinity Broadcasting. Coming up for you across the rest of the weekend, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, the final round of the fabulous Season 25 of the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans action. Myself and Brett Fisher will call the action as we look to crown yet another Vets champion of Split 2. Out at the Saxon Ring tomorrow evening. Monday morning then, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, 11:50 a.m. Highside Motorsports will debut on Infinity Broadcasting with Nashville Super Speedway for their first round of their Gen 6 NASCAR League. In towards 2026, you can look forward to on the 5th of January, of course, the VRS Porsche Cup Series will return with Season 4. Already got great sign-ups throughout the first week of them being open. Implore you to get signed up for next season. You've got a month to get signed up, with pre-qualifying still to come throughout the rest of December as well. There's plenty of opportunity to go racing with us here in the IRWC and across the different leagues here on Infinity Broadcasting as well. 25 to go. 45 of 69. Nice as we currently stand here at Talladega, about to become lap 46 with 24 to go. Anyone's game at this stage, and the fuel save game has been imperative for some drivers. They've got to get to lap 51 to try and guarantee themselves a run home on only one more pit stop. We are 6 laps away from that milestone in this race. They all went in at lap 32, which ironically was around about the stage end as well. So this is now where it gets into a high pressure moment, a high pressure gear for them as well. On that last stop, Chapman and Brannan only took right sides. Anderson, Ferguson, DeVries, Dodds, Lawford and Lawler took a full set of tyres. So it's a very interesting state of play currently here at Talladega here this evening. 24 to go, about to be 23. Lap 47 of 69. So how will the pit stops favour some of those other drivers? Of course, well, Project 36, they're going to get a natural gain in their pit stop over Chapman if he decides to take a full set of tyres. If they only take right sides and Chapman takes a full set, he may be giving up a championship unless it is a caution pit stop. If it's a green flag stop, it could be a death note for Kurt Chapman. If it's a yellow flag stop, it could be genius if that pays off for him in a perfect manner, as sometimes those drivers would hope it could. DeVries and Brannan, though, side by side for the race lead. DeVries on fresh, 4 sets of rubber. Brannan only has fresh right sides on board that FSU entry, the number 60 Mustang, leading the field at the moment. Who will reap these benefits to their absolute perfection here tonight? Lap 48 of 69. Brannan holds on to the race lead. Chapman now drops into P2 as DeVries is falling back down the order and back into the clutches of the final few cars. Anderson and Ferguson, well, they're trying to work together in those Toyotas in the mid-pack of the field. Only one Camaro in the field tonight. That is, of course, Ash DeVries. The rest of them, Chapman, Brannan, Dodds, Lawford and Lawler, are all in Ford Mustangs. So there's some great Ford representation within this field. But we know from our last pit stops, we know how close this racing is right now, but we know from our last stops how spread out the field can become through the green flag pit stop period. So these drivers are going to have to be careful tonight. They don't let themselves get run away, don't let themselves get caught out. The front 5 had the real advantage over that last run prior to the caution because they were able to run away from the other 3 cars further back. De Vries got caught out on his lonesome. He was in no man's land. Chapman and Ferguson couldn't do anything about it. They were dropping second after second after second, lap after lap after lap. So they cannot afford to lose the front pack battle because those top 3 off that last run out of pit lane under green flag conditions were the Project 36 cars of Dodds, Lawford and Lawler, made up to 5 by Brannon and Anderson getting in amongst them as well. 20 laps to go when we cross the strike. Lap 50 of 69. This is the earliest possible moment for the fuel savers of Dodds, Lawford and Lawler to come into pit lane. One more lap, the rest of the field can come in and get their cars home with 19 laps remaining when they cross the strike once again. It has been an enticing and intriguing battle all throughout this race, all season in fact. The championship has led to this. The title fight has led for them, the playoff fight to get them into the top 10, and then the survival rate across Texas, into Mexico, and now over to Talladega. It's been the big pressure challenge of a lot of these drivers and of a lot of these cars as well. Up towards the strike, 19 to go. We're in critical lap territory now. This is where you can get your car home with one more run through pit road. 51 of 69. Is it going to be green flag the whole way? Or are we going to get a caution that will entirely reinvigorate the race and put us on the edge of our seats? Put our fingers in our throats, we're biting our nails that hard, and really put our hearts in our mouths. That would be the fireworks ending we could hope to expect here this evening from Talladega. 19 to go at the moment as we enter turn 3 and 4. You can see that Chapman is tucked right up in behind Bailey Brannon and continues to sit there nicely. Anderson, De Vries, Ferguson, they're currently holding back the Project 36 entries, but we know the sort of fuel save they can get. As De Vries comes in on his own, this could be a death sentence for the Jack Daniels entry, because he's going to come out of pit lane all on his lonesome, and he's going to have nobody to draft with. So that will drop him down the order. But the front runners are able to go long as well. So who is going to jump first out of the contenders? Is it going to be Chapman or is it going to be Project 36? This is crunch time. Absolute crunch time now for those front-running drivers to make a decision. Do you come in or do you try and run the tank as dry as possible to get it to the end of this race? This is a tough challenge. It's a tough moment. Brannon's coming in. Chapman's going to follow him. Anderson and Ferguson continuing on with the Project 36 cars as well. So this here is big pressure moments now for Kurt Chapman, because Project 36 have continued along, and they've continued along in some draft behind Ferguson and Anderson. This is going to be a peak moment for Chapman and Brannon. They're in the box now. What's the strategy going to be? Is it going to be tyres and fuel? Is it just going to be right sides? It is just right sides for Brannon and for Chapman. Just right sides. They're not taking 4 as Project 36 take the top 3 positions. So Dodds, Lawford and Lawler lead Anderson and Ferguson around. This is some big pressure stuff here. Anderson and Ferguson are coming in. So they've left Project 36 on their line. Somebody's locked it up as Anderson, and it's an unsafe pit entry. It'll be a black flag for both of them, surely. Ferguson's got a black flag. Anderson somehow didn't. In a really weird turn of events. Where's Chapman and Brannon? There they are. So they've got to try and work together here as best they can. If Chapman's going to want to try and go back-to-back as the champion, it's 16 laps to go. How much longer can Project 36 go at the front end of town in a 3-car pack? It's all 4 tyres, by the way, going on board these cars, it seems. but they both, I think, actually have a black flag. I think Anderson did get one. It just hasn't noted it for us. So both of them have now got stop holds as Project 36 are in. So now it's got to be massive push here from Brannon and Chapman. It's got to be a massive push to get this car up to Project 36 when they exit pit lane. What is the strat going to be for them? This is huge. This is massive. Massive pressure. Massive title hopes for all of them. Everything's on the line. Is there a little lifeline coming, though, in the lap traffic of Ash DeVries? As Dodds exits pit lane, there's Lawford, there's Lawler. Here comes Chapman with Brannon in behind him. They've got DeVries to give him a little bit of draft. He's going to get them. He is going to get past all of them and into the race lead when he exits round. So he gets past DeVries. Where's Dodds? There he is on the exit, but Chapman's at full noise. So Lawford and Lawler have been left behind a little bit here. Here comes Chapo on the outside with Brannon. Through to the race lead goes Kurt Chapman. 15 laps to go. And it is on for young and old here in the championship fight. Dodds has dropped way back. Lawford and Lawler are further 2.5 back on him. They'll try and work together to chase him down with 15 to go. But with DeVries up there with them, he's going to be able to help give them some push. This will allow this little 3-car pack of cars to run away from Dodds, Lawford and Lawler quite possibly. Because right now it is a 3-second gap now that Dodds has lifted to get his teammates back into his draft. This is a massive pressure moment. 3.2 seconds is the gap between the top 2 cars and then the next 3 of Dodds, Lawford and Lawler. Now the beauty, as I said, for Chapman and Brannon is they've got the 3rd car in there of DeVries, who is a lap down, who can try and work with them to help push them along, but the gap is shrinking. It's down to 2.4 seconds for Dodds, Lawford and Lawler in behind them. So they are slowly creeping in on Chapman, Brannon and DeVries back here. Where is Ferguson and Anderson? They're just coming around turn 1, 2. So they've only just come around turn 1, 2. So if the pack of Project 36 cars can't catch the top 2, by the time that they've caught Anderson and Ferguson, all of a sudden, it's going to be a 5-car train that's going to be able to run along, and the 3-car train behind them is going to be left for dead. But at this stage, they are chasing them down, and they're going to chase them down before the commencement of the next lap, because all of a sudden, Dodds, Lawford and Lawler are now on the tail of the top 2 cars. So now this is pressure personified. 12 laps to go when they cross the strike. Lap 58 of 69, and Kurt Chapman is in the race lead with Project 36 hunting him down and trying to hunt him down for a championship challenge in what is becoming a fireworks display of a finale here for the Rod Knock Cup. This is big, big pressure. The grin on my face right now is huge because it is coming down to the absolute wire. And that's what we wanted by introducing the playoff system. This is fantastic stuff. This is oval racing personified. I've got goosebumps. The hairs on my arms are standing at the possibility of this championship battle we are about to have, ladies and gentlemen, for the final 11 laps of this race. Chapman, with the Mount Everest level climb he had against him this week, similarly to Logan Howard at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, is leading the pack of cars with those 3 hungry Project 36 highlighters chasing him down, wanting to try and clinch the title back away from their former teammate in the champion of Season 1 in Kurt Chapman. It was one of the wildest things that we tried to figure out early on in the season was why was Kurt Chapman not in a Project 36 car? Why was he no longer representing the team coming into this season after winning the title? And now it's come full circle where Chapo, as the defending champion, leading this race with 10 laps to go, is fighting for the title with his former teammates in Dodds, Lawford and Lawler. You could not even hope to write a script that good. You could not even hope to write a movie script, a TV script, hell, a wrestling script that good. It is truly prima donna sort of Broadway stuff that is on your screens right now. 10 laps to go. Lap 60 of 69. It genuinely feels like a prime time wrestling storyline about factions, about faction warfare, about heels and faces, and about turning any which way around. It is big, big stuff right here. 9 laps to go. Lap 61 of 69. Kurt Chapman leads the way to Bailey Brannan, who is sitting tightly in behind him P2. There's lap traffic of DeVries separating Brannan and Lawford back there, as well as Dodds. Project 36, can they do anything about it with 9 laps to go? I don't know if they can, because they're trapped back there. They're trapped behind the top 2 in a lapped car. And from what we've seen, DeVries may be willing just to help the front 2 here to hold off those Project 36 cars. It's a wild and woolly storyline from them. You've got friends, you've got teammates amongst the field, and when you get to go racing like this, this is where you draw the line. This is where the battle lines are drawn, and this is where the choices are made of who do you help, who do you hurt, who do you defend, and who do you attack. This is proper oval racing stuff. In the determinations of deciding a champion with 8 laps to go, it is anyone's game. With Harry Dodds currently in P3, he'll be hoping to get past the 666 car. He'll then be hoping to get past the 60, and then he'll be hoping to put the pressure on the number 1. But can he get this job done and get that car up into a championship winning position? It would be a hell of a way for him to end the week that he's had. And as we said, it was, of course, big condolences to Harry's family, not only here in Australia, but over in New Zealand as well. He's racing for his aunt, who he lost earlier in the week. And with 7 laps to go, if he can get to the front of this field, challenge for a championship in a car that he's been learning and developing in for across this season, in a car that he has been literally the learning guinea pig across this season, moving over from a supercar, also trying to learn the Porsche Cup as well. It's been big commitment from Harry Dodds to try and get this car up to pace. And Angus Lawford, his teammate, who's had great pace, as well as David Lawler too, he's lifted his game and he's lifted himself up into a playoffs position after his performance last week out at Mexico City. This front pack of cars have now caught up, by the way, to Jordan Ferguson and Jack Anderson. So that is 2 more cars that Kurt Chapman and Bailey Branham will screen by. DeVries will try and get by them as well. Dodds has gone with them and is now going to try and tuck up right in front of Jack Anderson. So Lawford and Lawler have been left out to dry behind them, by the way, with 6 to go. They have been left out to dry back there, with Anderson and Ferguson sitting tightly tucked right in front of them. Although here comes Lawford and Lawler. Past Ferguson they go. Next on their list will be Jack Anderson. But this is a massive moment in this race. So every car back together again. Bottom 3, 6th, 7th and 8th. A lap down, but amongst this train. Then you've got the playoff drivers from Project 36 of Lawler, Lawford, who are now trapped behind Ferguson and Anderson. Then you've got Dodds, who's P3, trapped behind DeVries, who's a lap down, and trapped behind Bailey Brannan, who's not in the playoff fight, who's currently sitting P2. Then we've got our defending champion, Kurt Chapman, in the number 1 car. Came in tonight with the biggest of odds against him because he was having to go 1 versus 3 in trying to claim the championship, and he currently leads this race. It is big, big pressure on the shoulders of Kurt Chapman. And I mentioned earlier, it was much bigger pressure on Project 36 because they had 3 attempts tonight to try and win the title. It's not over until the checkered flag flies, but right now, the pressure looks insurmountable for Project 36 to win this championship again. They won it last season with Chapman. They want to win it this season with either Dodds, Lawford or Lawler. But it seems to be an insurmountable amount of pressure on those drivers' shoulders to try and win this title 2 seasons in a row. 4 to go as they enter the back straight, as Anderson's now been knocked a little bit further back with Ferguson. So now Lawford and Lawler have managed to tuck up in front of the 2 Toyota Camrys. And now they are tucked right up behind De Vries, who is a lap down from them. Then there's Brannon, and then there is Kurt Chapman. 3 laps to go. Lap 67 when we cross the strike. Project 36 are going to go for it. They want an outside run on De Vries to knock him back. Then there's Brannon to contest with. Then there's Chapman ahead of them as well. As they come around turn 1-2, they've got an outside run. The trio of them are all tucked tightly, front to back to front to back to front. And can they push those cars ahead of Kurt Chapman as Brannon now tucks up in front of them as well? And then he knocks down to Chapman. They're getting door to door. And Brannon into the side of Chapman. He's off the road. It's caution out. Dodds is into the race lead with barely any part of this race to go. And with the caution out, we are lap 68 of 69. We are going to go green-white checkered. Kurt Chapman has got a meatball flag on that number 1 car. He's got to get it into pit lane. But the heartbreak for Kurt Chapman right now that he must be feeling. The absolute heartbreak from the number 1 car that he must be feeling right now. He'll come into pit lane. He'll get it fixed up with a fast repair. I don't know if he'll put tyres on it. But there is going to be a green-white checker to the end of this season. We're about to go overtime. We are about to go overtime. It is a main event level 8-round fight that's now drawn from the judges. We're going for a 9th round knockout. And your heart has to sink for Kurt Chapman. In his tireless fight, drove a perfect race, and in one fell swoop, has now been knocked back to P4. He's at the back end of the train. He's got to bring that car into pit lane to get it fixed because he has got that meatball flag, but he was waiting for the pit entry to be open so he could come in. So we need to watch him now to come into pit road because he has got the meatball, remembering. So Project 36 are going to come in. So they're all coming in for what I can only assume is going to be fresh tyres. So if you're Kurt Chapman, and he's just blown the engine on the entry to pit lane. Oh my God. Kurt Chapman has blown the engine coming into pit lane. It is the absolute biggest heartbreak you could ever think of. Project 36 are out. They've taken that extra fuel. They've only taken fuel. They've taken no tyres because of the green-white checkered. So they knew they needed more fuel because they were going long. So Project 36 are out of pit lane. And Kurt Chapman's championship hopes have now gone up in smoke. In what is heartbreak in the hope for a back-to-back championship for Kurt Chapman. And you got to feel for him. You've got to feel for him after that. It was a big incident. His car had damage. He's come in, and then he's gotten a blown engine on the entry. That is heartbreak for Kurt Chapman. And that is the number one gone off the side of that car. So now we need to look ahead to Harry Dodds, to Angus Lawford, and to David Lawler, the 3 Project 36 cars, who are now going to have to fight amongst themselves, a la Red Bull Racing Australia, a la Brock Feeney and Will Brown. Also, a la McLaren Racing, a la Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. They're going to have to race each other for the championship. Lawler, who came so close last season to winning the title. Lawford, who led the championship coming into the playoffs. Most race wins this season. And then Harry Dodds, who so sadly lost his aunt earlier in the week. Couldn't take part in the final round of Porsche Cups. Races for her this evening in trying to win the Rod Knock Cup in his first attempt. We're about to get one of the most possibly emotional final few laps of this race. For Dodds, it's honour. For Dodds, it's the opportunity to win a championship. For Lawford, it's to back up what he did in the regular season. And for Lawler, it's to make up for season 1. We're about to get it going again. Green, white, checkered. 2 laps remaining of Talladega. 2 cautions across that race, by the way, that we've had. It is going to be lap 71 when we go green. 2 laps left. If we don't get a caution on the 71st lap of this race, we'll get the white flag and the championship will be over and the champion will be crowned. Commiserations, of course, have to go to Kurt Chapman. He's now a lap down on the race leaders, and he cannot win this championship unless the 3 of them collide and go a lap down on him. I don't think my beating little heart could take that. This is pressure personified now. Project 36, with a title on the line, have got to sort it out amongst themselves, but they've also got to keep it clean enough that they don't drop a lap down on Kurt Chapman. This is big, big pressure. The pace car will come in. It will be 2 laps to go of Talladega Super Speedway. The restart zone will get lit up for a 3rd time this evening, for a 2nd time after a caution. Dodds, Lawford, front row. Brannan, Lawler, in behind. Anderson, Ferguson, DeVries, Chapman. All fighting for a little bit of glory. But the true taste comes from the champagne sipped in the Rod Knock Cup. 2 laps to go at Talladega. Who is gonna win Season 2? Round turn 2 we come. Scramble begins as they come down the back straight. Lawford is now into the race lead. Dodds is dropping back a little bit. Brannan is now trying to run up high into P2 on the road. It's the 52 to the 981 to the 60 to the 136. And with white flag about to come out as Brannan gets turned a little bit into the side of Lawler. And Dodds as well is off the road, and both of them are off. Both of them off the road and into the pit entry. White flag. 1 to go. Dodds and Lawler are out of it, and it's going to be Angus Lawford's to win. In what can only be described as, well, an upsetting end for some. It's going to be elation for another. for Angus Lawford, who dominated this season, led the championship into the playoffs, led it throughout the playoffs as well. He's going to come around turn 3, 4. He'll lead the pack of cars to the checkered flag. And what he's also going to do is he's going to take Project 36 to a back-to-back championship here at Dega, as Angus Lawford wins the 69 Nice Laps at Talladega and the second Rod Knock Cup. As it goes the way of Angus Lawford, David Lawler will come home P2 in the championship with a broken car and a broken heart. Kurt Chapman will come home P3. Harry Dodds will come home P4. But it's Angus Lawford who's the man of the moment. And it's Angus Lawford who is the champion.
I think, because I'm pretty sure, unless is it a stop and hold?
I don't know if it's a stop and hold, Angus. I've just cut you off from your conversation.
Sorry.
Angus, congratulations. You are the Season 2 Rod Knock Cup champion.
Thank you, mate. No, it's been good fun all season. Happy to come along and enjoy the whole lot with all the boys, and yeah, no, it was good fun.
Well, it was a bit chaotic towards the end there for you guys. I mean, not even just you guys, earlier in the race as well, before that first stage end as well. You know, bit of contact between you and Anderson that then dropped him into Lawler in front of you, which then obviously knocked Lawler out for a portion. Then there was you and Dodsey and Brannan going side by side, dooring each other. You've then come up behind, given Dodsey a bump, and as he's gone round, driven through him. Bit of tough pressure in the end there. Obviously a little bit of heartbreak for you guys as well in that second last lap. Bit of damage to Dodds and Lawler's cars. But elation for yourself as well as the champion.
Yeah, which is spewing, because yeah, the whole idea for tonight was like try and get all three cars into a 1, 2, 3, and we're actually going to go over for an all-out battle on the final lap against each other. So yeah, like should be not the way we wanted to finish it, but yeah, like it was good battles all the way around. The Xfinity was the bumps between me and Anderson and stuff like that was a little bit shocking. He tried to pull into the lane and he wasn't just clear, and as soon as it tapped I was like, oh no, but thankfully we're all there to battle through after the stage, and yeah, good season all around, good and consistent.
Well, it's a championship win for yourself. It's 2 championships now in a row for Project 36. Obviously, last season was Kurt. This season it's you. You get the number 1 on the side of that car now coming into next season. I suppose if anyone earned the championship outside of the playoff system, it would go to you, because you were the leader of the championship prior to the points being reset. And you were probably the most dominant driver of the whole season as well. Xfinity cars next season. That's going to be a new challenge again, but I know it is a preferred car amongst the oval fandom comparatively to the Next Gen. Are you excited for that challenge for Xfinities?
Well, I'm a bit in two minds about this as well, because I've got to wait until January with all of the calendars for V8 Scops, and I'm going to be taking a run at a lot of the Pro Invitational stuff and next season, so I'm not quite 100% that I'm going to be able to race the Rod Knock next season.
What I can say to you is there will be 2 Rod Knocks next season.
Oh, that's right.
There'll be an Australian time slot on Friday nights, and there'll be a US time slot on Saturday afternoons for us, roughly midday Saturdays.
Oh yeah, I'll probably try and get into that then if I do. But yeah, I just gotta figure out all the scheduling and stuff like that for next year with all the events that we're trying to push for. So I can't guarantee a Rod Knock return just yet, but I'd be definitely happy to come back and rock the one.
Well, you've done an absolute business this season. You've won the race, Angus. Congratulations, and the championship as well. Commiserations to David and to Harry. It was going to be a really emotional last lap, I'm sure, for you guys trying to battle that out, but it's gone your way in the end. Let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to, Angus, any of your friends or family may be watching, or any team sponsors as well. For myself, Jack, and the rest of our league, congratulations on being the Season 2 Rodnock Cup champion.
Thank you, guys. First, I'd like to thank the broadcast. You've put on a hell of a show. And also Project 36, always backing us through whatever we choose to race. With Shockworks, simrigs.com, Outlier Speed Co., CC Forged, and Cataclysm. And also, I'd like to thank Dave and Harry. They have stepped up this season and done really well. I'm proud of them. So, just got to continue on. And wherever the drivers choose to go, we're always going to back them. And, thanks to all the guys.
Well, Angus, thanks so much for joining us this season. Congratulations on your championship. Wherever you end up racing in 2026, we wish you the best of luck, and we hope that it is maybe at least in one of our series next year as well, if the schedule suits. But enjoy the championship win. Commiserations to your teammates who couldn't get there in the end, but congrats on this title.
Thank you, and I definitely will be back for Porsches. Catch you guys.
Very good, thank you. Next up, we have our P3 driver on the road here this evening. It's our resident American. It's very late for him. And apparently, when it gets very late, he likes to bang doors with people. It's Bailey Brannon. Hello, Mr. Door Knocker. Are you selling magazines? Because you think you banged about as many doors tonight as you could have hoped for.
No, I'm hoping to spread the word. I'm a part of Jehovah's Witnesses, so it's either that or I'm knocking on your door to ask you about your car's extended warranty. It's one of the two.
Well, you definitely you definitely pulled out some extended warranties for some drivers tonight. Harry Dodds twice, and then Kurt Chapman on the second last lap of the race as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say, talk us through it, because you were getting in amongst it, and then final lap, you go for a really, really tight run for a freeway exit that just didn't exist, and then door-to-door with Chapo and Doddsy, and Chapo's the one that's come out quite poorly scathed.
Yeah, so we had a plan there. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. I saw that the outside line had a run, and my goal there was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the outside and I'm gonna stop this run, and then they're gonna fall back, and it just didn't work because they just didn't lift. Whoever was leading that train, I don't remember who it was. It was one of the highlighters. They just didn't lift. And then I remember the end of the stage, it was 2-on-1, so I had to do something. I couldn't just let them storm by me and, not take the fight to them. I wasn't trying to wreck anybody, but I was definitely trying to race them hard and run them up the track if I could to stop their run. But overall, it was clean most of the race, and I led a lot of laps tonight, so I was pretty happy about that, and it was good hard racing. I had a blast. So.
Well, of course, we've got more oval racing on the channel coming. Highside Motorsports Monday for me, Sunday for you out at Nashville, so that'll be a fun race to call. Hoping and praying the electrician doesn't turn the power off for that one, so I can actually get to call it.
I'm praying that Elon keeps my internet going so I can race the whole race.
And then,
but it should be a good one. It should be a good one. We got a good group of guys on Sundays or Mondays for Australia. Good group of guys out there. Should be a good race at Nashville.
Well, not just that. 2026 US time slot for the Rodnock Cup as well. Friday evenings for you, Saturday afternoons for us. So that should be good fun as well. Hopefully a bigger crowd of drivers out there. Would mostly be Americans, I would think, because of the time slot. But But should be fun.
Oh, Hamish, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this series coming up for Rodnocks. I am so tired of running off of almost 24 hours of no sleep. So tired of being tired. I've been up for 22 hours now. I'm ready to go to bed. I want to race these guys when I'm not dead tired and just thinking about sleep. I remember it was probably lap 50, and I was thinking like, oh, when is this over? I want to go to bed.
Well, congrats on the podium tonight, Bailey. Best of luck.
First one.
Yeah, first podium. Somehow. Took you long enough, but
I know.
He still got a podium before Paul did, but still. Congratulations.
FYP.
Best of luck on Monday in Highside, Sunday for you, and best of luck next season in the Rod Knock Cup as well for the US time slot. Thank you so much for coming and joining us, and let us know anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go.
The first shout I need to give to is my bed, who's about to get all of me right now. And then I think if anybody's watching, shout out to you guys. Shout out to the guys that I was racing with tonight. It was a blast. Thanks for having me. And yeah, tune in Monday Australian time and Sunday American time. Highside Motorsports.
Yeah, we've already got it preloaded on YouTube, so you can find it on the channel and check what time it is locally for you and set the reminder. So click the notify me button. It'll notify you when we're going live with that one. So should be a fun time. We'll chat to you soon, Bailey. Thanks so much, and yeah, best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you, Hamish.
Thank you. Next up, we have our P2 on the road here tonight. Out of absolute nowhere, it is Mr. Bradbury himself, Jordan Ferguson. Hello, Jordan. On the podium, somehow, some way. In late, on the podium, though. What a run.
Oh, thank you. That's just how I do things, isn't it? Fashionably late and all that, mate.
Don't give me that, Jordan. You only got there because Bailey killed half the field.
Yeah, to be fair, I did actually have a 40-second penalty as well, so I was very, very lucky. Yeah, so
that was
a bit of a run.
That was a weird one, Jordan, because I saw you get the black flag, and then I saw that Jack didn't when he crossed the cone, and I was very confused. I thought, wait, how has he not got a black flag, but you have? And then
Jack did in the end, I believe.
No, he did, because he was sat there for 40 seconds. So
yeah,
I believe that he did, but it was a very weird one.
I sped into the pit lane, so
you are a sped, Jordan, so you know.
Well, yeah, it fits me personality. So, but yeah, so that cost me a little bit of time, and then got very lucky, and then nearly got Angus at the end. But Jack had other ideas because he was trying to keep shots behind him, so that's fair enough. But yeah, it was a good run anyway. It was good fun as well.
Well, of course, more oval coming your way Monday. I assume you've signed up. You requested a driver number in Highside, and then Rod Knox next season for 2 different time slots you can possibly race. You got so much options now for oval racing for yourself, Jordan. And are we going to see? Well, we'll see you back in the safety car as well for Porsches next season too. So be a busy weekend for 2026 for you from Friday to Monday, but I think it'll be a fun one for you.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking I need to get more on the sim and do a bit more driving anyway. So, yeah, ideally,
I can promise you from what is scheduled for the weather of Brands Hatch in the Porsches. You'll probably definitely get a run in the safety car in that one. I'm assuming.
I'll have to practice that.
There's going to be a little bit of variable weather coming, but
yeah.
But no, I mean, great job tonight once again. Yourself another podium. If only you showed up every week, Jordan, you might have been in the playoffs a little bit better than where you were last week.
Some of these fellas were over levels when it came to the road courses, so I didn't stand a chance, being honest. I was just happy to be there for the ovals, but yeah, when it came to the road courses, I wasn't under any illusions. So yeah, was just happy to be there in the end.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Jordan. We appreciate you racing with us as well. Congratulations on your P2. Yeah. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go tonight?
Just big shout out to everyone in the league who's been racing tonight. Yourself for doing the broadcasting, and also Jack for organising this thing every week, and yeah, getting our Monday series. Well, I'm not sure if it was him who was getting it up and running, but he's definitely helping with that as well, which is always nice. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else apart from that, really.
Well, Jordan, congratulations on your P2. Best of luck next season. We'll chat soon once again, I'm sure, and congratulations on the P2.
Thank you very much, mate. You take care.
Thank you, you too. Jordan Ferguson, P2 on the road here this evening. Well, it's come down to the absolute wire this season, ladies and gentlemen, in what was an incredible championship. It's gone the way of Angus Lawford, though, the man who led the championship into the playoffs. He's come out the other side as the Season 2 Rod Knock Cup champion. If he drives next season, he'll carry the number 1 on the side of his car. We'll hope to see him on track again. But big thank you to everyone who's joined us this season and who continues to watch along with us here at Infinity Broadcasting. As I mentioned, coming up on this weekend for you, tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, we go racing with the final round of the fabulous Season 25 of the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans Action for the Split 2 race out at the Saxon Ring, 8:30 p.m. As I said, myself and Brett Fisher in the booth for that one as we crown yet another Split 2 champion. Monday morning, 11:50 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, 8 p.m. EST time over in the States, or 10 to 7:50 p.m. EST in the States. Highside Motorsports goes racing for round 1 out at Nashville Speedway. It's going to be a fun time once again. We get to go racing in Gen 6 NASCARs for the first time here on Infinity Broadcasting. So you guys don't want to miss any of that action. A big shout out, though, to our series sponsors. VRS, the title sponsor of the Porsche Cup Series. Us here at Infinity Broadcasting. SPP Graphics and Black Art Designs as well. I've been Hamish Munro. This has been Season 2 of the Rod Knock Cup. See you guys very soon for Season 3. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Side gunning for a gold, 3 wide deep, heart ice cold. I roll smoke like a tire on fire, fuel in the blood, born to go higher. Check left, push right, walls close in. Every move tight, plan for the win. Left turn king with the heat, great time when the lights go green. We light the sky. Let's light it up.